Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to, do Smackdown review, August 1st, excuse me. August 1st. Man, we're already in August 2025. This year's flown by. But SummerSlam this weekend, and we got the go-home show for SmackDown tomorrow. SummerSlam at... What time is tomorrow? Time is SummerSlam. SummerSlam will be at 6 p.m. Eastern for the the first night. I will believe at 6 p.m. I think. For both nights at 6 p.m. I believe. But yeah, for tonight's show, for the go home show. So, as has become the case before almost all WWE pay-per-views, the final segment on this week's show was a promo, not a match, with Jelly Roll, Randy, Logan Paul, McIntyre. Friday's show was the usual go-home episode we've grown accustomed to. We had a few matches, a few promos, a few videos, and a couple of angles to put the bow on the present, heading into the PLE. The face turn from Cena, seemed rushed, and it may be a swerve in the end. His face turn seemed rushed at the start, the start of the show. He turns babyface. We'll see, maybe. There's going to be something, there's something's going to happen in the end. But for now, we are operating under the assumption that he will be a good guy moving forward. He had Black and Priest match, had a clean in. He might have stolen the show, but Vega and Julia ended up having probably the best battle performance of the night. SummerSlam being 2 nights for first time will be an interesting experiment. It hasn't worked for WrestleMania so far, so it should be the same with this show, because it's a pretty good card. To me, so. But I thought it was a solid go-home show. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a... 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty solid go-home show. There was some good wrestling tonight on this show, but let's start with the opener. So, the last time is still now. So, SmackDown opened with some aerial shots of New Jersey before this week's show. It's being held before we went to the arena for John Cena's entrance. He was greeted with a chorus of boos and chants of John Cena sucks. Before the Peacemaker star could say a single word, Cody came out to the usual popping crowd, singing his entrance, "Whoa, whoa." And Cena talked about how Rhodes forced him into a match he didn't want, but he thanked him for giving him the motivation he needed. He said he bought into an idea 5 months ago and gave everything he worked in his career, and it still led to him being alone. Cena said he still wants to retire with the title, but not because he wants to ruin wrestling, because he doesn't want to be forgotten. He said this was the day he truly returned to WWE, and it will be the fans who win on Sunday when they fight. Rhodes asked for 2 beers and they toasted, but unlike every time Steve Austin did it, this ended peacefully. Cena did his best, but this felt incredibly rushed. Felt like the setup to Cena attacking Rhodes again, but it was the live crowd seemed entertained, but man, it felt like this wasn't as good as it should have been. But I think they're maybe ultimately doing this, where Cody turns heel. Cena, you got the real John Cena. But yeah, I think it's part of what they're doing, man. Where Cena's basically going to be babyface, and then Cody's going to turn heel Sunday at night 2 of SummerSlam. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Man, it started John Cena burying The Rock, his heel turn. Travis Scott just turned babyface before SummerSlam Sunday. Either something is happening. I thought either something was happening at the end of the show, or Cena and Triple H legitimately said, "Fuck this, it's over." This doesn't completely work without Dwayne, and he left Cena high and dry. So maybe this is over, but I still think Cody's turning heel tomorrow. Or Sunday, excuse me. But John Cena cut a babyface promo. I'm going to make a prediction. didn't say it's my predictions video last night, but now with Smackdown, I feel like I got a much more confident prediction. Being that's a street fight, the final boss, The Rock will interfere. Cody will sell his soul, turning heel, and winning back the title in the process. And heel Cody is coming. I haven't been saying this, but they might turn this story into Cody, who's the one who actually sold his soul this entire time. Maybe. That's a more confident prediction now that SmackDown is out of the way. He seemingly turned babyface tonight. So that opened the show. Pretty solid segment there. Julia versus Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega got a rematch for the United States Championship against the woman who beat her for the title last month. Julia, obviously Kiana James, is now accompanying her to the ring. But honestly, this was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. This match was one of those that got better as it went. Started a little slow, but had some great moments during the second half. Had some close 2 counts where the match finally ended with the champion here and finisher second time to retain the title. This was very good, to be honest. Shows how good Julia is. They should have her on week to week, but they both showed up to work. That was pretty solid. It blew their last match out of the water by a lot. Blew their other match out by a lot. Julia should have been on the SummerSlam card. They could have done this match on SummerSlam or something. I don't know. But yeah, Julia's title run has potential, and she has the ability to naturally get over through work ethic. The company just needs to put effort in, because she's a damn good wrestler, and they needed that as well. So obviously Julia retained the title. And then you saw a clip of Jelly Roll and Logan Paul getting into a fight at the training facility. Then we had Los Garza versus Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown. They held an open challenge for their AAA Tag Team Championship this week. The call was answered by Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown. Obviously, Los Garzas defeated Psycho Clown and Mr. Iguana. The puppet was more over than anyone else in this match. But these are all 4 good talents. The match had some hiccups along the way, but the majority of what they did looked good, especially when it came to Angel and Berto, who really good tag team. The champions retained their titles, which almost got no reaction from the live crowd. But honestly, it's a pretty solid match for the AAA Tag Team Championships. But good to see Mr. Iguana. Solo Sikoa had a funny backstage interview with Kathy Kelly. Man, Solo Sikoa, he said what you want about in the ring, like I do, but he's funny. Also, Joe Tessitore acted like seeing Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown was like seeing the biggest rock star in the world, was kind of funny. Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. The 2 men stepped into the ring for a grudge match this week. For 2 guys that have been at odds the way these 2 have been in recent weeks, it was surprising to see them begin with a lockup and some simple holds and counters to start off. Honestly thought the match was solid. We all knew this would not be their only encounter, so this ending makes sense. You know, Priest defeats Aleister Black by disqualification. Began to build ahead of steam, ended up sending Black over the announce table with a big bounce. As he cleared off the table, Black threw a chair at him to cause a disqualification. Obviously, this wasn't going to be the only match between these 2. They're going to have a feud. We all knew this would not be their only encounter, and it makes sense. It doesn't mean it was the most satisfying way for it to end. Black kept up the attack and slammed Priest's head into the steel steps several times, and he finished him off with a Black Mass kick against the ring post. This match could have been a good addition to SummerSlam. There's some other notes. Priest no-sold Black's first kick, but sold the second a bit more. It was a nice touch. Aleister Black almost fell flat on his face when Priest popped him up into the air. But yeah, I thought this was a good match. Obviously, he's going to end in a disqualification because they're going to have another match. I don't know where, but they're going to have another match. Tala Tonga versus Jimmy Uso. Tala Tonga defeats Jimmy Uso. This match was a series of brief comebacks by Uso after taking punishment from the tallest Tonga. Eventually, Tonga won clean with a chokeslam. This wasn't the most exciting match, but it was good for WWE to make Tall Tonga look strong in his first performance. Solo called for the cage hanging above the ring to be lowered so the MFTs could attack Jimmy without anyone stopping him. Before it got all the way down, Jacob Fatu came out and got in as it was lowering. Sikoa and Tala escaped through the door while Mateo and Tonga Loa were left to deal with the angry smelling werewolf there. I kind of want to say before this, WWE aired a video showing Triple H with a present this week. It was brief, but it still felt necessary. Like, I really don't care, to be honest. See a lot of people talk about on Twitter. We're talking about it on Twitter. I'm like, honestly, who cares? Like, I really don't. Like, I could care less. But yeah, they really didn't have to show that. Because, I mean, I don't think anybody cares. Joe Tessitore kept confusing Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. That was funny. Yeah, this was fun, I guess. I think this was the main event, I think. Which, I don't know why this was the main event. It's like, dude, why do we have to have, like, Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns, Braun Breaker, and Solo Sikoa? Monday was the main event. Now more somebody was the main event. Like, can we get something different with the main events on these shows? That's kind of my only complaint. Can we get some more, like, different stuff in the main event, like, instead of, like, mid-cardy stuff? Obviously, Roman Reigns isn't a mid-card guy, or the guys are obviously Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, but can we get some more, like, variety? Instead of just the Samoans? But, I mean, it was still solid for what it was, and it was a solid show. Actually, I'll give Stay with a 7 out of 10. I thought it was solid. Damian Priest and Aleister Black I thought was a good match. Julian Zelina was pretty good. The opening segment I thought was pretty solid. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 show. And the tag match with the Iguana and Psycho Clown against Los Garzas was decent as well. So yeah, that's really all I'll say for SmackDown, to be honest. I'll be back here tomorrow, Sunday, for the 2-night SummerSlam events. And then I'll be here Monday for Monday Night Raw, the show after SummerSlam. So yeah, this is my first of 4 straight days covering wrestling. So yeah, all I got. Peace.